Resisting the urges for pornography can feel almost impossible to resist. And most of the traditional tools that you might have heard of are all about what you should do after you've been triggered. If you're triggered, call your accountability partner. If you're triggered, then go and exercise or journal or distract yourself. But if you're struggling with urges, you're already in the cycle. It's already too late. I'm a licensed therapist, and in this video, I want to give you 5 tips or strategies that you can use before you ever even get triggered to identify and work through the root cause. That way, you don't have to spend all of your energy resisting urges or eventually giving in. Strategy number 1, stop treating the urge like the enemy. In order to be successful in any long-term way, it starts by understanding that there are 2 different categories of effective tools. You have behavioral tools and emotional tools. And if you only implement one set of them, then the urges are going to keep coming back. So the first tip is what I want to focus on is in the emotional category. And this is the one that most men often miss. So I want you to think about this. When you're struggling, picture an iceberg. The part that you can see above the water is only 10% of the whole thing. The other 90% is under the surface, and urges work the same way. What you feel in the moment, that pull, that pressure, the urge to go and search for something, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Everything underneath it that led to the urge is what is creating the intensity. It's what's driving the triggers. It may be stress that you haven't dealt with, or shame that you've been carrying, loneliness that you haven't ever really connected through, or disconnection from your wife that's been sitting there for days. All of this unresolved pain has to go somewhere. And if it's not addressed and resolved, it builds eventually until it turns into an urge. So when you try to fight the urge in the moment, you're only fighting the 10% that you can see. It's the 90% that's under the surface that's still there. That's why the urges will keep coming back and back, because all of the tools that you've probably tried are to resist the 10%. You're working on the wrong part of the iceberg. This is the most important first step that you can take. It's to identify and resolve everything that's below the surface. And when you do that, when you address the root cause, then the urges completely lose their power. And if you want some help figuring out what's underneath the iceberg for you personally, the specific root cause that's driving these urges, then I put together a free guide that walks you through how to find and fix the underlying issues. All you need to do is click on the link below in the description. Strategy number 2, it's to resolve what's underneath the surface. And most men don't get this far. They may slow down and notice that something feels off and label it by saying, I'm stressed. But then they stop there. But naming it is not enough because the stress is too vague to do anything with. You have to zoom in. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're stressed. The thing that I would ask you is, what are you stressed about specifically? And when you slow down, you may recognize that it's not actually just stress. It's the feeling that your boss, in this case, for example, is piling on more work and you're already maxed out. And underneath that is that if you don't get everything done, you're going to disappoint him or he will think less of you. That, in this example, that's the real issue, not stress. It's fear of disappointing somebody, and that's heavy. And if that is unresolved, that heaviness will turn into an urge. That's why the urges don't disappear when you put your phone down or you go out for a walk. Those things sure can help in the moment, but when you sit back down, the fear is still there. So what actually resolves this? Well, in this case, maybe it's a conversation with your boss. You explain what's on your plate, you reset expectations, you come up with a plan together, and when you do that, that is you addressing the actual underlying cause that's creating the pressure in the first place. The pressure then starts to drop, and when the pressure drops, the urges lose the fuel that it was running on. This is something that I work through with men all the time in my coaching program. We slow down, figure out exactly what's creating the pressure, and then we create a plan for you to know what to do to resolve it. And once you start to resolve the real problem, instead of just fighting the urge, it becomes so much easier to quit pornography for good. Now, that's just one example with the boss, and your situation may look very different, but I want you to understand the principle. Quitting pornography is not about getting better at just managing urges. It's about getting better at resolving the things that create them. Strategy number 3 is to challenge the self-criticism. And this one is really important. Let's say you slip. And almost immediately a voice shows up, and it doesn't just say that you did something bad, it says that you are bad, that you are broken or weak or you're a failure, you'll never get past this. This is one of the worst things that you can believe about yourself. Not only is it completely inaccurate, but it creates even more pain and shame and hopelessness. And ironically, that extra pain becomes the very thing that you want to escape from, which will set you up to use pornography again. It becomes this self-fulfilling cycle, and it's so discouraging for people to get stuck in it. The best way that I've seen men challenge this is by learning to separate who they are from the actions or decisions that they're making. Who you are is a reflection of your values and your desires. If you genuinely want to be a good person, you want to be free from pornography, be a good husband, be honest and compassionate, and have integrity, those desires tell you something about who you are. Your actions, however, are a reflection of your current skill set. If you've been using pornography as a coping mechanism, it doesn't automatically mean that you're a bad person. It just means that you've learned an unhealthy way to deal with difficult emotions. Every man who struggles has reasons underneath the surface. And the answer is not becoming better at resisting urges. The answer is to understand why the urges are happening and building those skills to deal with the underlying issues in healthier ways. Self-criticism does not help you to quit pornography. I've never seen that work. It actually keeps the cycle alive. So learning how to challenge this negative voice and separate who you are from your actions is the very best place to start. Strategy number 4 is to get out ahead of the urge. Those first 3 tips that we covered are tools that you can use on the emotional level, but we also need to address things on the behavioral level as well. Instead of waiting until you're already triggered and then trying to fight the urge that's been building all day, I want you to get out ahead of it. One of the best ways that I've found to do this is by doing a simple daily emotional check-in. I would start by doing this once a day, and you pause and ask yourself just 3 questions. What am I feeling right now? Where is this feeling coming from? And what do I need to do to resolve it? Now, the goal of this emotional scan is to catch the pressure while it's still small. When you first identify what's building underneath the surface, then you can make a plan to address it. Awareness without a plan just leaves you sitting in the feeling. So let me give you an example of this. Imagine it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You stop for a daily check-in, and you realize that you've been feeling irritated all day. And as you think about it, you start to recognize that it started after your boss started to criticize one of the projects that you were working on that morning. And ever since then, you've been carrying around this quiet feeling that you're just not good enough. Instead of ignoring it, you decide to take action. Maybe you spend a few minutes trying to talk through it with your wife or your friend just to get it out of your head. And then you sit down and think about all the good things that you have done at work. And you remind yourself that one conversation that doesn't go well doesn't define who you are as an employee. You can tell yourself that it's okay to have a bad day, and that's all that this is. It's just one day. It's not who you are. When you respond in this type of way, you're actually resolving the emotional pressure while it's still manageable. And then when you're sitting alone on the couch at 9 p.m., then that same urge never shows up because you started to do something about it way beforehand. You're resolving the issue so the urge doesn't have anything to grow from. So instead of getting blindsided by the urge at night, you start to recognize these warning signs hours earlier and take action. That gives you the time that you need to actually work through what's going on instead of trying to white-knuckle your way out through more temptation. Tip number 5 is to build a life that meets the need that pornography has been trying to meet. Once you understand that you've been using pornography to escape from whether it's stress or loneliness, disconnection, the feelings of not being enough, whatever that is, then you can recognize what you need to focus your energy on. Most men spend all of their time thinking about what they need to stop doing. A much better question is, what needs to change in my life so I don't keep reaching the same breaking point every week? This is where those emotional check-ins become so valuable, because they help you not only understand what you're feeling, but those feelings can point to a deeper need that needs your attention. Maybe you discover that it's loneliness, or chronic stress, or maybe you're disconnected from your wife. Maybe it's a lack of purpose outside of work. Whatever you uncover, you will finally have some direction as to what actions that you need to take. Instead of just trying harder to not look at pornography, you begin addressing the underlying need itself. If it's loneliness, then you intentionally build in more connection into your week. If it's stress, you come up with healthier coping mechanisms to help you decompress. If it's disconnection, then you start investing in your relationship, in your marriage. If you lack purpose, then you begin building a life that feels meaningful instead of just living in this empty space without any direction. Those are the shifts. You're no longer spending all of your energy resisting, you're actually solving problems that were driving you towards it in the first place. And so if there's one thing that I hope that you take away from all of these tips, it's that overcoming urges is not about just resisting them. It's about understanding where they're coming from, developing the skills that you need to address what's happening underneath the surface, and being able to take actions to resolve those underlying issues. And the more you do that, the urges will genuinely, completely lose their power, and you can finally feel free. Remember, urges are not the enemy. They're information. They point you to the areas of your life that need attention. When you respond to that information instead of trying to suppress it, lasting change becomes possible. So I hope all of this helped, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next one.